What up, what up, what up? Daniel Augustin here. Following up on the Notre Dame versus Penn State semifinal ball game. That was a game. That was a game, okay? Listen, I talked a lot of shit after the Indiana Notre Dame game, Penn State, SMU. I'm taking everything back because ultimately one thing I can clearly say, there has been a road to the best games. So I gotta accept that at the beginning of the playoffs, there's still gonna be some mismatch because there's a team that is lucky to be there playing against a team that was bound to be there, a team that probably lost their conference title game. And so they were basically second to maybe even best team in their conference, depending on what happened in that game. This game right here, I was in it. I was in it all the way. I would have personally been happy with either team winning this game. But to be honest, there is something special about Notre Dame that makes me personally want to root for them. In my opinion, when I try to evaluate what that is, I believe it's the fact that Notre Dame is a team you don't see the clear-cut superstar on the team. And if you do, the superstar isn't as obvious per se or as overly used. It's a team. It's a whole team effort. And I see in Notre Dame the best coached team in all of college football. Best coached. I see it in all the players. I see it in their body language, the way their body language changes from the beginning of the game to the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, the way they're able to believe in what their coach is telling them. There is something about Notre Dame that when you cut on the tape, you see a team that's relentless in effort and support, the way they support each other. And these guys are very athletic too. I mean, they lead all of college football with interceptions. So it's extremely fitting that they got the interception at the end of the game, number 29. Don't remember his name right now off the top of my head. It's so fitting, though, that that's how they end up wrapping it up on defense, getting the ball back for their offense so that they can win this ball game. I'm going to run through some thoughts. I didn't write down any notes. As these games progress, I'm a fan more than I am somebody who wants to dissect and put down. I didn't even want to do that. I really just wanted to watch and kick back and watch. So I'm running through these thoughts, right? I don't trust Penn State's quarterback, Drew Aller. He needs that extra year. The fact that people are trying to lobby his name, they're trying to lob his name as potential draft candidate, potential first rounder. He's waiting to find out and see if he needs to go back to school. Cut that shit out, man. Cut it out. He knows he needs to go back to school. He has not played like a superstar quarterback all season. The only reason why that's even being talked about, one, the playoffs is a long run, so you have to win a slew of games. And so to do that, it would show some kind of big game, aura about you. But also the draft is kind of weak. And people are dying to get some more quarterbacks because these top 10 teams in the draft, at least 5 or 6 of them need a quarterback. So they want to be able to draft one. They want to be able to feel good about drafting one. And so they need that quarterback to ball the hell out, to have some kind of PR about them, to where they can kind of sell that. We're drafting this kid. Y'all saw him in the playoffs, right? Y'all saw him. Y'all saw what he did, right? We're drafting that kid. That's the one. Yo, he already put a whole season of tape up for everybody to evaluate. He's not making game-making throws on a day-to-day, on a game-to-game basis. Because if he was, Penn State beats Ohio State when they played them. If he was, Penn State doesn't fall so far behind Oregon. Because this Penn State team, it's hard to say they don't have one of the best defenses. One of the other things I noticed is all the 4 teams that were left, and now we only got 3. Out of all the teams that were left, though, all of these teams run the hell out of the football. And only really one of them have a superstar wide receiver. If Jeremiah Smith wasn't on Ohio State, and it was simply Egbuka and then Tate, Ohio State would be so much less superhuman. And Egbuka would have games, especially when he's playing against the right team, where he's going to struggle to get open. Egbuka gets open a lot more easily because you got to pay attention to Jeremiah. But ultimately, all 4 of those teams, Penn State, Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame, they run the hell out the ball. They have really, really good defenses. Besides the fact that they have great program history, they all have, I'll say, very popular coaches. Okay, because a lot of people are still kind of waiting on James Franklin to win the big game. I think James Franklin is all right. I think Penn State, they played really well, but I think for James Franklin to elevate, he's not going to be able to go into this offseason now and expect Drew Aller to get better. It's on him, his offensive coordinator, Franklin and Kolenicki. They need to spend a ridiculous amount of time with Drew Aller this offseason in a lot of creative ways. Film, that's one way. But he needs to be on the field. He needs to be throwing 7-on-7s. I think Penn State needs to hit the portal because they need a superstar wide receiver who is guaranteed to get open. Think about the fact that Drew Aller is going to come back next season and it ain't going to be no Tyler Warren. Now what? Because if it's not for Tyler Warren, first of all, Penn State's not even in this game. Sidebar, if I'm the Chicago Bears drafting at 10, I saw a mock draft today with Mel Kiper, Field Yates, talking about who they should draft, and they suggested that the Chicago Bears should draft Kelvin Banks from Texas, the O-lineman. Do not do that. Kelvin Banks is completely too injury prone. Got to find out what's going on with his health first and foremost. If I'm the Bears, I'm drafting Tyler Warren because Tyler Warren is the kind of threat I believe Caleb Williams needs because he can win intermediate, he can win deep and in the middle of the field, and then he can win short. And he can block. So he's going to help you with people like DeAndre Swift. He's going to be able to, I think, unlock that offense in ways that offense needs right now. Because if Caleb can just find the open man, they'll be all right. They'll be able to matriculate the ball down the field. Yes, they need help on the O-line, but I'm guaranteeing you right now, a lot of Caleb Williams' struggles, I know this is such a sidebar, forgive me, but a lot of his struggles are based on him not getting the ball out quickly. He's waiting, a lot of waiting and depending on his athletic ability. It's not too much of a sidebar because I'm talking about Tyler Warren, ultimately. Look at this stat. So Drew Aller, when he threw to the running backs, he was 3 for 8 for 39 yards. When he threw to his wide receivers, he was 0 for 4 for -3 yards and an interception. When he threw to his tight ends, he was 9 for 10 for 103 yards. First of all, the fact that he's only throwing to his wide receivers for 4 times in a game speaks volumes. And to me, it lets everybody know that y'all are doing too damn much trying to sell him as a quarterback who should get drafted early. He got to come back to school. He's not even throwing the ball to his wide receivers with confidence or enough. When they played against Boise State, he was trying to throw the ball all over the field. He wasn't really connecting like that. Maybe at the beginning of the game, there was a couple of them, but there's no consistency with it. Penn State, if they can get the kind of wide receiver that can really separate, if I'm Penn State, I would deliberately go to the University of Florida's football team, and I would go and try to recruit Trey Wilson off of that team. Because the Gators they're loaded with wide receivers. That team doesn't even know what to do with those wide receivers. I'm waiting to see who the Gators bring on as an offensive coordinator because that's going to have a huge amount to say on how that offense is even going to look. I got total faith in DJ Lagway, but Lagway wasn't even really throwing the ball to Trey. He wasn't using them. To add to that, the Gators want to run the ball more than anything. And I don't want this to happen. I'm a Gator fan. But I'm just saying what I think needs to happen as an unbiased football fan. If I'm Penn State, I'm trying to go get Trey Wilson. Because you need a game breaker at wide receiver who can get open for Drew Allen to have somewhere to go with the ball where it's not just based on how precise he can be with the ball. And again, lastly, if there's no Tyler Warren, which there won't be, what the hell is this offense going to look like? This offense is going to look completely different. Because you can't just find another Tyler Warren, dog. Let's be real. So listen, let me pivot. And now I want to talk about Penn State run game. The way Penn State came out in this game, amazing. Okay, Singleton was balling. I would have liked to see a lot more of Katron Allen, who played a so-so game. All because of this two-back approach, they're getting what they need. And they were getting what they need. But Notre Dame has this will that even though you got that first down and even though you got that second first down, you still need 50 yards. And Notre Dame knows how to buck up and stop you and get you to turn the ball over on downs so that their offense can get on the field. Even though Penn State came out so strong, they were making plays, they were running the ball, but they weren't finishing drives, which again, I'm going to put that on Drew Aller. When your quarterback is confident in his skill, when he has the repertoire with his guys so that he can consistently move the ball down the field, and it's been something that y'all been doing all season, then those drives don't stall so consistently. And Penn State is a team that sometimes finds themselves not looking like the kind of team they could be. If you're a team where your best player is your tight end and then your two running backs, you're not really going to be that team that's just outscoring everybody because you scored so much. Really, Penn State's strength is their muscle. Because when you go back on defense, that D-line is ridiculous. Penn State's defense is so good. 33, so good. To have him on one side, Abdul Carter on the other, how are you really supposed to stop those guys? Penn State had 5 sacks. Notre Dame only had 1, but Notre Dame made more plays when it needed to be made. Now, as I'm getting ready to wrap this up, I'll say like this. I don't trust Drew Aller. He got a lot of work to do, but I do not trust Riley Leonard either. He came out in that second half and played a lot better. When Riley Leonard is throwing the ball, I'm on the edge of my seat, and it's not for the right reasons. He made some amazing throws in this game, and he made some terrible throws in this game. That interception that he threw to 33, how can you not see that, dog? He's double covered. Number 33 is 6'4", if I'm not mistaken, 6'4", 6'5". You don't see him? And then to short arm the throw on that play, come on, Riley. Come on, Riley. And then you got guys like Colin Cowherd. He's trying to talk Riley Leonard up as well, trying to talk Riley Leonard into the first round. Y'all gotta relax, man. I'm telling you guys, I know that I don't get anywhere from, say, 300 sometimes to 3,000 to maybe 5,000 on these videos. So I don't have that much of an audience. But listen, I don't need that much of an audience to tell the truth and to tell you what I see. When people are on the media, the bigger name people are on the media, sometimes they're getting that information from up high, and sometimes they're trying to do all this talking and all this, pitching these big names and lobbying these names because they need a story. They need something to talk about. And a draft without multiple quarterbacks to talk about, it's a weird draft. It comes off a bit like we don't know what kind of draft this is. People don't like to look at drafts where it's a bunch of linemen and running backs and edge rushers. People don't like to look at those drafts like they're special. Those drafts are still important. All right, so for teams in the NFL who don't really know what their quarterback situation is going to be looking like beyond, say, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, if that's what you want to do, you got to find another way. You got to figure that out. Okay, that's another conversation for another day. Look, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to just say Jeremiah Love is a very special player. He's got to get healthy for this next one because he's a game breaker. You're going to need him in this game. And Notre Dame is going to need Riley Leonard to play, just outside of his mind. Because if Notre Dame is playing Ohio State, which they are the betting favorite, I don't think you're getting this kind of ugly game. The way Michigan came into this, I think that's what they would like. But I don't think you're going to be getting that. If you're playing against Texas, it's a lot more evenly matched. But it's hard to go against Ohio State right now. Look, Marcus Freeman, he deserves his flowers. He definitely is getting his flowers from me. The fact that Notre Dame lost as early as they did was important. Riley Leonard is playing with more confidence because of him. I do think Riley Leonard is a liability. That backup quarterback, when he came in, they looked good. Notre Dame looked good. They were throwing on time. Their receivers were starting to look like dangerous, short, intermediate. Riley Leonard's a little bit, it's hard to watch Riley Leonard, to be honest with you. It's hard to watch him. They got great plays in this game from Greathouse, which was game-breaking. When he scored that touchdown, that was the longest touchdown pass they had all season. That says a lot about their passing game. The move he put on that corner, it didn't look like it was that much. It was a quick move on number 5. But he dropped number 5 on his ass. Number 5 slips and falls. Riley throws a perfect pass in that scenario. And then Greathouse makes a great play on the safety, touchdown. I think it was the third quarter when Notre Dame first came out. Riley Leonard threw a perfect pass over the top of one of the linebackers' heads to number 20. I believe that was their first drive coming out of halftime. So when Riley makes the throw, he makes a great throw. It's hard to watch him because you just don't know what you're about to get with this man. There hasn't been consistency in his passing game. So that's what's scary about him. It's hard to say Notre Dame is supposed to win. It's hard to put them as favorites. Anytime you're voting, you're picking Notre Dame, you're picking them because of the way the team plays, and in my opinion, you're picking them because of the way they are coached. Shout out to Notre Dame. Shout out to Marcus Freeman. I am so grateful for this football game that we got tonight. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Oh my goodness. I am looking forward to tomorrow. You will get another video from me tomorrow. Does it get any better than this? Does it? Does it? Tell me how. Tell me when. I'm waiting. I appreciate you if you're still sticking around and watching this video, and I would appreciate it even more if you decided to subscribe. That would mean so much to me. That would be my Orange Bowl. You know what I'm saying? That would be my championship. Where's the confetti at? Where's the confetti? You subscribing? Did you just subscribe? Where the confetti at? Oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. Where's the reporter? Where's Molly McGrath when you need her? All right, y'all. Listen. Peace, love. Looking forward to tomorrow, man. If y'all are watching this, let me know who you got. Let me know if you got Texas. Let me know if you got Ohio State. I'm looking forward to that one, and I'm looking forward to the next one, the national title game. This is a pretty amazing season.